Sounds good.
This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Here we are, July 25th, 2021. And although the pandemic's starting to simmer down a little bit, I'm still not back in the station. It's still closed, but I'm happy to do Zoom. Zoom has been great. Zoom has been awesome, and it's allowed me to open the door to the house, so to speak. For the guest I have today, we are celebrating the 35th anniversary of House. The old
Wow.
tagline, Ding Dong, You're Dead. Folks, I bring you the grocery boy of the film.
I think it's the first person you see.
There you go. James Reed Calvert. How do you do, James?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
I guess the first question I have to ask is, did that ruin your career in delivering groceries?
I guess it must have because I never did deliver groceries after that. That was it.
Yeah, like I mean, she could have at least left a tip.
Wow. Come to think of it, yeah, that was long before people were delivering groceries because of COVID. This was 35 years ago, so I guess I was just a friendly grocery boy.
Thank goodness, it was before COVID. She would have been out of luck.
Yeah.
Before we talk about House, though, I want to get a little bit of your background because I know you got into the business as a child actor. Am I correct?
Yeah, I started when I was like 10 or 11, very, very young, my brother and I. And, we lived up in Santa Barbara, but we would drive down to LA and be in little guest spots here and there. And, and then we moved to LA and I've been an actor ever since.
Well, it's. I would have been 14 in 1986. Excuse me, when this film came out.
Hmm.
Actually, I would have been 13 because I think it came out in February 1986, if I remember correctly. So, but I would have turned 14 that year. It's interesting how things have changed since then. I joke with people, I remember the little thing called typewriters and
Oh, yeah.
phones that stuck into the wall and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or even grocery boys that come when you call.
It's a different era. Yeah.
Different era. I gotta admit, I really love the opening of House, with all the various shots of that house and it kind of the camera kind of going around and you see little things like the cat jumping out and just kind of
Oh,
running
yeah.
down the path, nice and ominous, and when the music ends it has you showing up on your scooter.
Hmm. Hmm.
Were you a regular scooter driver back then, or was that?
That was actually the first time I had ridden a scooter.
Uh-huh.
And, I was like a teenager. I must have been 17, 18. Anyway, my late teens,
Mm-hmm.
and, they had just hired the scooter from some other kid about my age. So he was on set, and he kinda showed me how to use it, and then I think he was horrified when I bumped into the curb and, like, it was my first time riding the scooter, so I had a very nervous, fellow watching from the side. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you take the groceries. Um, what was that house like? That's a nice house.
Yeah, well, I mean, I shot on 2 days. So one day was the exterior where I was
Hmm.
just walking up the path. And then the other day was in the studio because the interior of the house was not the exact house you see. So the exterior and interior
Okay.
were different days.
Didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what the inside of that house that you see from the outside looks like because we didn't use it. It was just an exterior. I
Okay.
believe they actually made that path. They made a lot of changes to the house, just obviously so it looked right. And then interior, uh, it was a big sound studio, I remember, and I do recall when I first met the old lady, um, she was already kind of hooked up, and but we were chatting and stuff. So I was very surprised when I actually do turn the corner and I see her, and she was hanging there, and it was terrifying.
Yeah, I like it too because it just kind of comes in out of frame, and then she's hanging there, and of course, as she tells William Cat later, it was a house. It was the house that did it, House made me do it. It tricked me. I didn't think it could, but it did.
Mm,
Get out while you can.
mhm.
And that house, is it still there?
I don't know. I believe it
Okay.
was in, I think it was in Pasadena or maybe Monrovia, which is a community that's a bit, what, east and north of Los Angeles, but really all
Okay.
within the same metropolitan area. Um, I bet you it's probably still there. They do a lot of filming around there, Pasadena, because they like the exteriors. So I'm
Yeah.
sure it's still there, but the interior, no, because that was built on a set. I'm sure they just tore it down and built the next thing the next day.
Wow. No, what did you think when did you just get that part of your script, or did you get to read the whole thing when that came out?
I got to read the whole thing, but since I was a kid and I knew that I never showed up again. I think I read it to be a good boy, but I didn't really pay too much attention because I just had my lines and then I ran away. Um, but yeah, I liked the script when I read it. Like of course I was going to say yes. It wasn't like when they offered me the job, I'm like, yeah, of course I want to do this. Um, yeah, it was really fun. And
So
I
what
didn't really meet anybody other than, the old lady and, then the director and, the crew, but I didn't meet the other stars because I never had a part with them. So,
what was in the grocery bag?
gosh, they had real groceries in there. They really did.
Oh,
I'm trying to
wow.
remember what was in it.
Catering. The catering.
And it had some heft to it. I don't recall exactly what was in, unfortunately. Yeah, we probably ate it later. I don't know.
Yeah, the catering. Catering won't show up today. You're bringing the groceries.
Here comes James. Yeah, chop that up, whatever that was. Oh yeah.
So you don't drive the scooter anymore. You don't take that up.
No, yeah, I never had a great experience with it. I don't know. I just got in my car and drove away. Um,
So hitting that curve turned you totally off the scooters for the rest of you.
I was surprised by how fast it would get up, because they told me like this is the key and here's your throttle, and woof, suddenly I was going. And I think Steve Miner must have just liked the look of how unprofessional it looked. Like it looks like a kid just riding around on a scooter.
You
Um,
know what it puts me in mind of is the opening sequence to American Graffiti, where Charles Martin Smith, when you first see him, he's on a scooter
uh-huh.
and he's trying to stop it and it speeds up and it hits into something.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was not planned.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
George Lucas just kept it in because it looked funny and authentic, and so he just kept it in. So it kind of reminds me of that. Maybe scooters are just not that friendly.
Yeah, a little unreliable.
Yeah.
I
So
suppose if I knew how to use one, it would look a little less ridiculous. But anyway, I
well, it worked nonetheless.
yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah. No. And of course, I did not know the inside of the house was a sound stage, but I gotta admit that outside of that house looked great. It looked very ominous. Out
Mhm.
in the sun, it looks inviting. Probably doesn't look that inviting at night, but
Yeah, I wasn't there at night. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. And of course, this is a horror comedy, and
Mhm.
I think I read something where Sean S. Cunningham had said that it had never been done before. I trying to reflect whether it has or not. I know Haunted Honeymoon came out the same year and it kind of had a similar tone to it. But nonetheless,
Mhm.
yeah, the humor in it worked very, very well. Did you go to the premiere?
Hmm.
What do you remember about the premiere of the film?
I don't know that I did. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're starting to break out a little bit.
can you? You're a little frozen. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying that
Uh,
you were breaking up there some. So,
oh, okay. Yeah. So I had gone to Switzerland
uh-huh.
to just be a state for the summer for an experience, summer abroad. And when I got there, I met all these people that were all living together, and they said they were going to go into town and watch a movie. Did I want to go? And I said, no, I just got here. You go ahead. What are you going to see? And they said, we're going to go see this movie, House. And I thought, oh, of course I want to go see House. So I went to go see this, and here I have these German friends I just met and Swiss friends, and they're watching the screen, and they look at me, and they look at the screen, and they look at me, and they're wondering, like, do all Americans look alike, or do you happen to be that actor? So it was a funny introduction to, my summer.
Are you sure that they didn't look at you and say, "Great, we know who's going to bring the groceries later"?
Yeah, that they might have actually. We could put
did,
him to work. Yeah.
did your folks see the film?
Um, yeah, I think I definitely showed him the first part of it when the video came out years later. I don't know if they went to see the movie theater because I'm not sure either one of them really likes horror films, no matter how much I told them that, it's not scary, but you know.
Yeah. Well, what do you remember about Steve Miner? Now, Steve Miner, of course, um, began with, of course, he was, I think, an associate producer on Last House on the Left, which,
Mm.
of course, was directed by Wes Craven, and of course, Sean S. Cunningham was a uh, producer on that, and of course, Steve was also involved with the original Friday the 13th under director Sean S. Cunningham. And then Steve went on to do Friday the 13th parts 2 and 3. And of course, Sean brought him in to direct this film. And of course, Steve went on to do Halloween H2O and Lake Placid and various things like that. What do you remember about Steve Miner as a director?
I remember he was a really nice guy.
Mm,
He kind of just, laid out the scene and let it play.
mm-hmm.
Um, as you remember auditioning for the part, um, there's a lot of description of the grocery boy going upstairs and then seeing something and being scared by a cat and then going down a hallway. And so in the audition, which was just his office, I remember I had my backpack and I kind of like took that off and pretended it was a grocery bag. I don't know. And then I walked around his office, and so he had to kind of follow me around. So I don't know. I was just kind of playing with him, like, well, it says walk down the hall, so I walked away from him, and he had to kind of walk around to look and see what I was doing. And I assumed he just thought that was charming or silly or something. And but I remember he was really laid back, really easy guy to work with, really nice. And it was just a 2-day shoot, and then I didn't see him again. That was it.
Did you have any interactions with Sean?
No, he was kind of farther away from I really spoke to, the director and then the costumer and the, people who were more directly involved with me, the first AD, whatnot. So of course I did meet Sean and congratulations, welcome to he was very polite to me, but it was, it wasn't a huge role. So, I think they were like, welcome, thank you for being here, and now goodbye.
I don't remember the actress who played the elderly woman right off the top of my head, but talk about working with her and seeing her get set up for that scene where she's hanging.
Well, it was amazing because she kind of showed me I'd never seen how they did that before because
Hmm.
so she had this like a very heavy plastic, like heavy duty plastic vest on underneath her dress. And it was all cinched up with the steel wire. And then it would go up around behind to the back of her neck, basically, and was held up. kind of like how like a mother cat would hold a baby, cat, a kitten.
Mhm.
And so she showed it to me and she explained it to that, and she showed the makeup. They had done the makeup so it looked like her neck was pulled or whatever. And it actually did pull a little bit on her. Um, so, it was kind of neat to see how that worked. I don't know. I just wanted to find out before I saw her. And then when they strung her up, she looked dead to me. That was a terrifying moment. It was very easy to play scared at that point.
Yeah, you rushed out of there quick, and yeah, you didn't stay for the tip.
Yeah, no, no. Though you do end up staying longer than you expect. I think the first take I might have just run away too quickly. So
Mhm.
they couldn't really see, I come in, I go, what? I just ran away. So I think we had to do a second take where I kind of looked so you could register that I'm seeing it and then run away, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, this is a really enjoyable movie, and I know I had an uncle that owned a video store back in the early to late 80s, 81 to 88, I think was, and of course House was of course one of those films that uh, was there. I really like this film. Did you get to meet any of the cast afterwards, like a premiere or anything like that, or
I
did that not
didn't.
happen?
No, that didn't happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I don't know. I guess I was in college at the time and
Uh-huh.
I had moved to Europe to study abroad for a semester. So I think I kind of missed out on a lot of that, and then moved on to the next project, whatever it was.
Because they had a good cast in this: William Catt, George Wendt, and Richard Mole, and of course Kay Lenz, and Mary Spelvin. I think was in this. I think.
Mm-mm.
Like Steve Miner even had his son in there in some place.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe
interesting.
that kid that is dropped off for William Catt to watch. If memory serves me, I think it was Steve Miner's kid.
Oh, that's fun.
You know,
No, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
So
wish I had better stories about the premiere, but I don't recall actually being there. So sorry.
no, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. That's okay. Did you see any of the sequels?
I think I definitely watched the second sequel. I didn't
Hmm.
know there were more after that. I definitely saw the second one.
How funny was it that George Wendt was in the first one, and then John Ratzenberger, both of Cheers, of course, was in the second
Right,
one. I always
right.
thought that was kind of funny,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And the dynamic
It's
was a
been
little bit
years since
different.
I've watched it actually, personally. I haven't seen it in years and years and years. Though I still have friends who will you know, stream it and suddenly look twice and like, wait, is that Jim Calvert? Still to
Yeah.
this day, take photos and they'll send it to my iPhone. It's like, is this you? Is this you? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, the third film was called The Horror Show, and it was released as House 3 overseas. I
Ah,
was very confused about that for years.
right, right.
And then House 4, Home Deadly Home, was released after that. So House 4, I was always turned off by the fact that they brought William Catt back as a character with that same name, Roger Cobb,
Hmm.
but he didn't seem to be playing the same characters with anything ties to that first film. I I was turned off by that,
Huh.
but I got the first one. I enjoyed the second one as well with its Western flavor to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. This film was, and you ever get to do the convention scenes? You ever get to
I
go to the
didn't
con?
know there was a convention scene around this movie. Really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I know William Catt as I haven't met William Catt, but
Uh-huh.
I know he's done some of the horror conventions and stuff. Of course, he was in
Um,
Carrie 10 years before this film, so
yes, yeah. I
yeah.
did one convention once because I was on a TV show called Superboy
Hmm.
um, after this, and so I was there. I was in the first year, and I think it ran for 4 years. And so, there's a lot of fans of Superman, and that whole universe. So I did a convention for that, and it was fun. It was really neat
Oh,
to
they
meet
are
people,
fun.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the
I'm
most
always
unique?
surprised by how much more fans know about what I had done than I remember, because they really like that specific show and they know everything about the show. And so they'll ask me like, really specific moments and remind me of things that I'd forgotten. Like, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, yeah.
So, what is the most unique thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Um, Nothing unusual, really. I mean,
Okay.
there was at one point there was a promotional comic book that Superboy had put out, and someone had it and brought it for me to sign, which was amazing. And they had it in the English version and the Spanish version. I had no idea that there's a Spanish comic strip with my face speaking beautiful Spanish. And so I was impressed when that showed up out of this guy's briefcase and I got to sign it. That was impressive to me. Like, wow, you've done your research. I had no idea. But that was the most unusual. I didn't have to, sign any body parts or strange. Yeah, no, just pictures and memorabilia. Yeah.
Well, I was looking at your IMDb, Internet Movie Database, and you've done a lot of television.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really pinpoint anything particular because we'd be here for the next week. So
Right.
I want you to pick two or three of your favorite TV experiences and tell me what made those stand out.
Well, I mean, way back in the 80s when, I actually started in 1979, I think was my
Hmm.
first TV show for the Jeffersons. And
Ah, I remember
that was,
those.
yeah, that was delightful. I did 2 episodes of that, with my brother, and I do recall that my grandparents just could not get the concept that we had not flown to New York, because they say we look out the window and we see New York, and we said, "No, that's just a scrim behind. It's inside a sound studio. We're not in an actual apartment, and we're not in New York." But they could not get that concept. So that was the introduction to my family about Hollywood and Hollywood magic. Um,
Any memories of
and I,
Sherman?
oh yeah, he was funny. Oh God, he wanted to make you laugh on screen and off screen, and I was so impressed that like the right there, there's me, and it's like a hand.
Hmm.
So this must have been in the 90s, and I remember I finally, after all the auditions, you meet her if you're, in contention to play her son. Oh no, my internet connection is unstable again. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. It
Yeah.
did it to me
Okay,
too. So, yeah. Who was you just
okay.
talking to
But
about
anyway, I didn't actually get the part, but Carol Burnett herself was so sweet. And when I first came in the door, she gave me a big hug just to break the ice, which was important because this is an idol of so it was wonderful. She was really sweet. I didn't end up getting the part, but I really liked meeting her and she
Hmm.
was lovely. Yeah, those are a couple of so that's not even going to be on the IMDb because I didn't actually do the role.
Well, I remember the Jeffersons so well, and of course, Sherman Hemsley would always just blow up.
Yeah, he didn't blow up in real life. That was a character. But he always wanted to make you laugh. He was definitely an entertainer.
Oh yeah, he was a really good entertainer too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other standout? Because you've done a ton of television.
Oh yeah. Um, it was what another standout. I really I was on the It Is Enough when I was a little kid. For some reason, I was a bully a lot when I was a kid. I played a lot of bullies, so I ended up like um, I punched. Well, not in real, not actually punching, but when I was in It Is Enough, I got to punch Adam Rich because I was the bad kid, and I recall that somehow I hadn't read the script well enough. Like I got to the point where I punched him, and and uh, and then I was in the last audition for it, and And so I said, pow, and I, punched him. And then the casting director said, pow, and he punches me back. And I said, he hits me? Because I hadn't realized. Of course, the star of the show is going to win this fight. Like, what are you talking about? And then when we were on the set, we got to that moment, and we'd worked out, the distance, and so we could do the punch, and it looks real, and obviously I'm not hitting him. And I'd say, yeah, pow, and hit him, and we do another take, and the director said, Jim, could you not say the word pow when you hit him? Oh yeah. So those are some of the memories from back then,
Well, it's kind of a
And
reflection on the old Batman comments. Pow would appear in this.
yeah, exactly. For some reason in my head, bam, And then recently, I actually just got back from a year in Japan where
Oh.
it's not on IMDb because it was a live action. I was working at a theme park. I was working at Universal Studios in Osaka. So I had flown out there right when the pandemic was hitting, and then they closed the border. So I ended up working the whole year, which was great, doing live entertainment. And I got back then this last April, right when the vaccines were coming out in America and like life was coming back to normal. So I had a kind of unusual COVID year because I kind of skipped it. I went to Japan.
Oh, how did Japan handle COVID?
They decided to close the borders,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a lot of asking people to work from home, and everyone wore masks, which was really easy for them. That wasn't a big jump in their culture at all to do
Mm-hmm.
that. So they really handled it really well. I guess things are getting a little worse now, unfortunately, right around the Olympics. There is a state of emergency in Tokyo, but while I was there, life was kind of they a lot of the big events they canceled, obviously, because they couldn't have people congregating. But as far as everyday life, it continued, and the theme park was open, so I had a job. It was great.
Yeah, I'm an essential worker. I worked through the whole thing. The station I'm affiliated with is still in lockdown. Yeah, I've been going back to the movie theaters since July 2020. So that doesn't.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow,
but I'm glad that one of my guests had recommended Zoom, and you're my 74th interview this year. So I'm loving the Zoom thing because I don't have to call the station to find out whether Studio B, the recording studio, is available for me. You
right. You,
know,
you got it
I
right in
could
your
just,
living room or
yeah,
whatever.
this is
Yeah,
fantastic. And when they open, I'll go back and, stick my flash drive in, and there you go.
there you go. Well,
Yep.
this was lovely. You'll have to send me a link so I can hear this,
Oh
or
yeah, you could put it up when I send it to you.
great.
Um, yeah, um, I'll let you do that. If you don't mind, you mind if I add you on Facebook?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, plug me
Okay.
in. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was glad to find you for this. Yeah, can you believe it's been 35 years?
God, 35 years. Wow. Well, that means I'm an old man now, doesn't it?
Well, I just turned 49 on July 8th, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was born in the early 70s. So I remember some of the 70s, but I remember the 80s very, very well.
Right, right.
A lot of nice memories, but it's fun because being able to do a podcast like this, and be able to go through and celebrate movies like this and
Mhm.
reach out like I knew this film was celebrating an anniversary, and I wanted to find somebody from it. And when I found you, I was like, grocery boy.
Right.
Now, I just thought that, and I know your role was very small, but it was
Mhm.
like, but it was kind of key.
Yeah, well, I was the introduction to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a nice creepy scene in that movie, because that movie had a lot of creepy scenes in it,
Right.
very innovative. But I was so like it was like a gem to find you. I was
Oh,
like
thank
the
you. That's
grocery
sweet.
boy, yeah, because I
Yeah.
know you've done things bigger than this in terms of roles, but
Right, right. Well, it was very sweet when I got the message. I was like, "Oh, I like that movie, and I remember that." And yeah, it was really lovely. So thanks for
Yeah.
reaching out.
Are you fully vaccinated yet?
Yes, I am. I am
Uh,
bulletproof, so that's great.
Actually, you know what? It's funny. Um, I'm fully vaccinated, but it's like everybody around me, including my supervisor, was like
Hmm.
out for 2 or 3 days, you know.
Oh yeah.
Other than a sore arm, I worked through both vaccines.
Yeah, I was fine. I mean, the
Yeah.
second time, I think I felt a little tired at night, and I had a nice sleep and woke up and okay, now we're done. So,
I don't have to feel tired. My cat gets all the sleep I don't get. See, he couldn't do that opening scene in House because that involved the cat and being ambitious enough to run.
yeah, yes, he's not
You'd
that
have to
way.
shake the Temptations bag for him to do that. For him to move that fast.
Oh, too
Yeah.
funny. Too funny.
Do you got
Well,
this on Blu-ray?
I do not.
It looks
But
great, I'll tell you
I'll have to
that.
I'll have to order it, yeah, on the Blu-ray.
This is a nice Criterion release. They do. Oh, I know it's Arrow. It's an Arrow release,
Right.
and they did a
Yeah.
really good job with this, and it looks great. And yeah, it's still thrilling. It's kind of
Mhm.
the comedy version of the Amityville Horror, so to speak. So
Right.
yeah, you got any charities or web pages that you want to plug on here?
Oh, I don't, I'm sorry. I guess I should have that ready, but, I don't, but, I'll come up with one, for the next
Well,
time I do
where can people reach you in case they need to order their groceries?
Well, you can reach me through my union, Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA. Oh my god.
James, thank you
Yes,
so much for coming
thank
on here. And
you.
yeah, it was a delight to have you on here today and talk about this. And yeah, you had a very key character in this movie. It was nice and creepy, and yeah, you're the first one we see when this movie, well, actually that little cat is,
Well, yeah, yeah,
but he's just getting out of the way so you can have your big moment.
yeah.
But
Well, thank you so much. It was great talking with you.
it was great talking to you too, and I'll send you the link for this whenever it's ready, which shouldn't be too long. And
Great.
feel free to put it up.
Sure.
Yep, I upload 5 interviews a month
Okay.
publicly, so this will be unlisted for a while
That's
on
fine.
YouTube.
Oh, well.
But you got my permission to put it up public.
Okay. Oh, thank
Like
you. Thank
like
you
if
for
you
that.
want to put it on your Facebook page or whatever, you got my permission to do that. Yeah.
Thank you
There's
so
a
much.
reason I do that. My former station manager said, when you do these interviews, don't put them all up at once. Save some for a
Mhm.
rainy day. Well, rainy day translated to COVID because
Oh, yeah.
when the station closed in 2020,
Right.
I went 9 months unable to do a show.
Wow. But you had all these interviews
I
that you
had
were
over
introducing?
150 in my
Nice.
backlog,
Nice, nice.
and so I was able to keep my YouTube channel going.
Right.
But I had to get Zoom going because I kind of missed this. I work as a cleaner. I'm an essential worker. That's
Mhm,
I
mhm,
work as a cleaner. That's what I do for work. So
mhm.
but so I worked through the whole thing, but it's like I kind of missed doing this.
Right, connecting with people like this.
Yeah. So I'm delighted with whoever created Zoom. Give them a reward them because this has been wonderful, and it was nice meeting you.
Yes, it was nice to meet you too, and best of luck with
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely. We are celebrating the 35th anniversary of House and the grocery boy. He'll satisfy all your grocery needs.
The grocery boy with now who has gray hair. It's been
And
35 years.
and he might have updated from a scooter to an Uber.
Exactly. It's great talking
God
to you, Greg.
God bless you and thank you so much.
Sure. Bye.
Bye-bye.